Once upon a time, a Turkish butcher sprinkled salt down his forearm, and the internet lost its collective mind. Salt Bae, the meme,
The icon.
the guy who turned seasoning into a spiritual experience. But fast forward a few years, and the only thing getting burned now is his reputation. We're talking lawsuits, empty restaurants,
Tip theft.
setting customers on fire, being physically removed from major sporting events like a drunk uncle at a wedding. What happened? Let's talk about the rise, spiral, and salty demise of the man who thought edible glitter was fine dining. Salt Bae, real name Nusret Gökçe, wasn't always the villain in a luxury steakhouse horror movie. He started humbly, a trained butcher, posting slow-mo meat-cutting montages that somehow felt like a cologne ad. Then came the sprinkle, that dramatic, over-the-top flourish of salt down the elbow. It was dumb. It was unnecessary. And it absolutely worked. Celebrities flocked to him. Athletes, rappers, billionaires. Everyone wanted a $1,000 steak selfie with the meat magician. His restaurants exploded. His prices followed. But here's the thing about going viral. You can't season your whole career with one meme. And Salt Bae didn't evolve. He inflated. He became the main character of every room. Not the chef. Not the owner. The performance. A man who believed his own parody. If there was a single moment where Salt Bae's downfall turned from simmer to full boil, it was the 2022 World Cup final. Argentina wins. Emotions are raw. Grown men crying. Messi finally claims football's crown. Enter Salt Bae in a tuxedo. Not a credentialed guest. Not a player. Just Salt Bae. He slithers onto the pitch, uninvited, physically grabs Messi's arm, mid-celebration, and tries to force a photo. Messi literally side-eyes him like a persistent club promoter. Then Salt Bae snatches the actual World Cup trophy and hoists it in the air like he just scored the winning goal.
FIFA.
Furious, they launched an investigation and banned him from future events. The internet? Ruthless. Salt Bae wasn't iconic anymore. He was embarrassing. The meme had aged like unrefrigerated steak, and people finally noticed the smell. While Salt Bae was busy turning the World Cup into his personal photo shoot, his restaurants were crumbling faster than overcooked beef. Take his London flagship, once booked out for months. Profits nosedived by nearly 50%.
Why?
Let's see. $600 steaks that taste like disappointment. Gold leaf everything, which costs $10 on Amazon but sells for the price of a used Honda. Service that screams, "We don't care." And $39 lunch specials just to fill chairs. And that's the UK. In the US? Even worse. His Boston location got shut down for safety violations. His New York restaurant was a tabloid circus. His Miami spot, brace yourself, allegedly tried to arrest a customer for refusing to pay for a gold steak they didn't order. That's right. They ordered a regular meal. Got served the bling version.
Complained.
And Salt Bae staff said, "Cool. Here's a cop. Call it what it is, steakhouse extortion." Behind every gold-crusted ribeye is an employee ready to snap. Multiple former workers sued Salt Bae's empire, accusing him of stealing 3% of their tips. Others claimed they were fired after speaking up. One lawsuit even compared him to Tony Montana. Yes, that Tony Montana. With allegations like passport confiscation, humiliating staff in front of customers, ignoring labor laws like they were restaurant suggestions. This wasn't a business. It was a steak cult led by a man with a god complex and a phone full of shirtless photos. And it gets darker. At one of his Istanbul restaurants, a tableside fire show, you know, the dramatic ones influencers love, went horribly wrong. The flames erupted. For guests caught on fire, one woman suffered third-degree burns on 35% of her body. Salt Bae's response? Not a public apology. Not even a refund. They allegedly destroyed the security footage and carried on like it was a Tuesday. Final destination. Steakhouse edition. If Salt Bae's taste in PR moves were a steak, they'd be well done and rubbery. During a humanitarian crisis in Venezuela, He served dictator Nicolas Maduro $1,000 steaks while millions of citizens were starving. Maduro smiled as Salt Bae sliced beef like a Bond villain in a dining montage. Public outrage exploded. Protests outside his Miami restaurant. Mass online backlash. Salt Bae? Silent. Probably sprinkling sea salt in denial. Oh, and just before opening a new location in Miami, home to one of the largest Cuban exile communities, he posted a Fidel Castro tribute. I mean, Google exists. Maybe use it. At his peak, Salt Bae was getting millions of likes per post. Today, engagement down over 70%. Follower growth stalled. Comments roasting him more than his steaks. He still posts like he's the emperor of elegance, posing dramatically on cliffs, slicing meat in slow-mo, acting like he's Aristotle with a carving knife. But no one's clapping anymore. The illusion is gone. The gold leaf wore off. What's left is a man who mistook attention for admiration. And here's the thing, Salt Bae was never a chef. He was a performance. A walking, flexing brand designed to impress people who think putting gold on meat is classy. But when the performance became cringe, the food turned out mid, and the lawsuits piled up. The brand collapsed. Salt Bae didn't fall off. He seasoned himself into irrelevance, drip by drip, steak by steak. He could have used his 15 minutes to build a sustainable restaurant empire.
Innovate. Mature.
But instead, he tried to live inside a meme. And the internet does not tolerate sequels that overstay their welcome. So if you ever go viral, remember this. Sprinkle fame lightly. Because if you overdo it, you don't just lose your flavor. You become the joke. Like, comment, and let me know, what's the cringiest Salt Bae moment to date? And if you ever paid $1,000 for a steak, blink twice. I'll see you in the next one.